swampland region, in the Delta region, in the swampland, east of the Mississippi River, there was a squatter named Major Jones, MJ for short. Now, it seems that MJ said he was slicker than a weasel, a living bobcat, that he could hunt and shoot with a gun. But the truth be told, he was a complainer, and he especially complained about the Arkansas swampland skeeters. Also, he was not a hunter, though he said he was a mighty hunter. He said he had shooting strength, but the truth was he kept his gun in a canoe, and he set bear traps all around where the bear was plentiful. He was lazy as pond of water. Now, it came to the point where it was getting late, mighty warm, around candle time. And MJ was listening to the frogs croaking really loud in the creek. Whoop, 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 needy, needy, whoop, 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 ribbit, ribbit, whoop, 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 reap. But louder than the frogs was the zoomers. Now, they was plentiful as ants at a picnic. They was big as wild turkeys, and they came out thick as barn hay around hunting time. And he could hear them louder than the frogs could croak. Why, them varmints smelled blood. And it was MJ's blood, and he knew it. Well, he started running as quick as he could, but they kept running after him. Well, he jumped into his canoe finally, and he started setting to paddle, and they kept coming after him. Now he's getting madder by the minute. So he takes his gun, and he starts hitting them, but then finally he decides to fire. Boom! Boom! Well, he got a couple of them, scared the rest. But then they start coming after him again. So he jumps out of his canoe, heads for the cabin, goes into the cabin, shuts the door, boom! Down goes the latch. He says, thank the Lord. Well, he slept pretty good that night. But then, when he got up early in the morning, he decided he needed some meat and some oil. So he headed out to see what was in the bear traps. So he gets out to the bear traps, and what he saw made his face drop. Because in one of them traps was a skeeter the size of a heifer looking at him. Well, his face was fit to scare black cats at night, and so he flung a rope around its neck. He hobbled up his hind legs real good. He tied a board to its nose, a log to its board, and then as he let him out, he held the rope and he started walking real slow-like to the barn. And that skeeter back him was rearing and bucking, and he said, you just keep on rearing and bucking back there. I'm going to teach you to be gentle as a lamb. In fact, I'm going to make you drill holes in that board of yours. Find me some oil. So he stuck that varmint in the barn, and he hears that skeeter in there making a racket, tearing and ripping. Well, he tried to ignore it, went back to his cabin, and it kept making such a racket, why, it was enough to wake the dad. Well, got to be about the third night. He could not sleep. So he says to his wife, I'm going to fix that toe blistering Skeeter. So he goes back to the barn, and he hears it making a racket in there and smashing and hitting. So he grabs himself a mule harness from the back lot in the cabin, and he goes real cautious to the barn. And when he gets in there, he's running and dodging, cross-running, and finally he puts the mule harness on the Skeeter, ties him up with a rope, and he heads out of the barn. That Skeeter didn't like it one bit. He kept zooming and hitting and banging. So MJ goes back to the barn, and before he could even touch the latch, boom! Down came the door. That Skeeter had done broke down that door, and he took off his harness, and he was looking straight at him while MJ's eyes were big as goose eggs. But before he could say Jehoshaphat, that Skeeter started flying high up into the moonlight. And it spotted a cow in the pasture mooing for its young, and headed straight for the cow and lifted it up by its hind legs. Now in Arkansas it usually takes 2 Skeeters to do that. But this time it was only 1. Well, and she said, that was something I couldn't run for the gun for, because with a Skeeter and a cow up so high in the sky, no gun could get him. Said, well, that'll teach me to stick with bears and not mess with